Tokenomics, creating a sustainable game economy.
All right, guys. So we are going to be talking about tokenomics, creating a sustainable economy. With me, I have Orel, Sror, co-founder and CPO at OviO. So Orel, you here? Hey, Orel, come join us. Jarek, Bialek from Revenue Capital will be joining us on stage, as well as Steve Murray from Zogi Labs and Onur. Oh, here we are. Hey, Onur. And Onur Altan from Bitci Teknoloji. Okay, guys, so the topic today, sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear, so I'm going to shout. The topic today is tokenomics. Now, tokenomics, they're just numbers on white papers, aren't they? People just put random stuff, throw it out there and then see what happens. But is it actually important, especially when it comes down to games, in creating a sustainable economy? I mean, do we need to think about this like we're creating the next US dollar, or can we just fudge numbers together? So before we do that, though, I'd like you just to introduce yourself, give you a bit of like a 1-minute intro to yourself, and then we'll go on to the topic.
Starting from me, right? Okay. This is Onur Altan, and I am the CEO of Bitci Holding Group. We are a blockchain research and development company with its exchanges in Turkey, Brazil, Georgia, and a global one. And we have our own blockchain with over 30 fan tokens over it, including Brazil national team, Spanish national team, and McLaren Formula One team. Our side companies under holding group is Bitci Games, which is a gamification company for token clients, as well as we have an NFT platform and a venture studio that we have portfolio companies on Web3 and Metaverse. So answering your question,
Okay.
Or we do the introduction.
Yeah, let's quick through the introduction that we can get discussing.
All right, very quickly. So my name is Jarek. I'm the board member of Revenue Capital. And what we do within the companies, I wear two hats, right? So the one hat is the investor's hat, as we have our own proprietary tokenized fund investing in Web3 and Web2 projects, actually being on the verge of doing those two. And then we also provide solutions, productized solutions for not necessarily Web3 companies, any company creating community. So we just incentivize and power up, this process on behalf of our clients base.
I'm Orel, the co-founder of OviO. In a sentence, OviO was made to bring the mass adoptions from traditional games into blockchain games as seamless as possible, and to make those blockchain games accessible to the users that want to play but they are afraid to deal with all the blockchain technology.
I'm Steve, co-founder and CEO of Zogi Labs. We're creating a game called Legends of 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐬. It's a play-to-earn MMORPG. And we should be launching this year. We also have our IDO coming at the end of this month for our in-game token. So it'll be interesting to learn some tokenomics points from these guys for our token launch this month.
That's for sure. So let's go back to that topic I was just about to say. Do we need to take tokenomics seriously in-game economies? And how seriously do we need to take it? Now, let's start with you. Let's start with you, Onur. Let's start with you. So, do we need to take it seriously?
If you're using any tokens in the games, yes, we do need to take it seriously. And the main problem using tokenomics in the game environment is the inflation. And the inflation is connected to a couple of things. If you even have X amount of tokens in the ecosystem of a game, you still have bearish and bullish seasons when there's more interest and less interest. So what you need to do, you need to create a deflationist way, getting tokens burned or used in a way that is not in the market again. Then you can balance these two times of the market, because as we know, it's all connected to Bitcoin halving, and every 4 years we have this, so the market acts mechanically towards that. So when we have the bearish seasons, you have less tokens, and when you have the bullish season, there's more interest, which will be balancing the amount of tokens that will be used in the ecosystem.
Okay.
That's one thing. And the other thing is the transaction. So if we even use the tokens in the ecosystem, there needs to be a smooth transactions of players using crypto in gaming environment. So to be able to obtain this, when you ask anyone, any player to go on a Web3 game using NFTs, connecting their Web3 wallet, this is a little bit of a difficult process, at least for the generation which is right now playing. So instead of that, it should be more available with more variety of tokens with different applications, maybe tournaments over the games to make the transactions smooth and have more clients using the benefit of tokenization over games. So tournaments might be a start point for the transaction.
Okay. So, Jarek, I'm going to move on to you. Fortnite, there's no inflation. I know you just get tokens, and those tokens you earn roughly the same every game, and if you win, you get X amount. Why do we need them in our crypto games?
Yeah, so I'd like to paraphrase it a little bit because I hear this question a lot, from our portfolio companies, from the founders of the portfolio companies and the clients. Like, okay, should there be the dog waving the tail or the tail waving the dog? Meaning that, okay, what is the reason why we have tokens in the game in the first place? Like, what is the role of those tokens? And then, what system is supposed to power up, those tokens and the usage of those tokens in the game? So long story short, what I keep hearing all the time is like, yeah, because we need a community. And through tokens and the tokenomics, we're supposed to create like this nice, smooth environment where the community is somehow magically created. And that's the general assumption, which is like, okay, it works sometimes it doesn't. So the question is, what kind of community you want to create this way? And what kind of behavior you expect from your community members? And what behavior attracts new community members to the already existing one? So I'd like to take a step back and just to take you to the process which happens like before even the game is created. So how you create the community before the very content which is supposed to attract the game is not in place yet. And then you might be thinking, okay, so we have those tokens, meaning that a kind of an ownership behavior is being created, the speculatory behavior is being created through the fact that the community is supposed to own those tokens. But then what about co-creation? Like we have the generative AI knocking our door right now, meaning that there will be more content, more assets to be digitized, to be owned, in the process. So again, if we just stay back, if we take a few steps back and we think, okay, would I, as the community member, would like to have an impact on what sort of content is being delivered, how this game is supposed to be played, how the token economics is supposed to work. That's when I think Web3 is supposed to play a role, and that's basically how I'd like to approach this process as the solutions provider.
Okay, my takeaway from that is essentially from Fortnite, where you only have really a two-party economy, right? So you have the game and the players, and it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Inflation is really not an issue because you use the tokens to go back into the game, and then you'll eventually get tokens. Stakeholders, you have two. Whereas in a Web3 economy, we're looking at multi-parties, obviously not just the game and the player, but you also have, for example, advertising businesses or other parties who are providing service within that economy. So we need someone along the way is going to need to take those tokens out of that economy and do that. Now, what do I need to do if I want to establish a good token economy? What would you do from your end, Orel?
First of all, a good tokenomics should consider about understanding what is economy, which, on my experience, a lot of the Web3, let's talk about the games, Web3 games, I don't want to say all they care about, but all they seems to be doing is to take care of about their token price and how their investors or their traders can monetize on their token. and not putting much light on the sustainability of the game itself. So users can always come into the game and always play and always integrate with the game and have fun. As you said, like Fortnite, users come to the game, they spend money within the game. They don't care about making money from the game. But in Web3, it's a bit different because you have to take care about on your investors, that they invest money in early stages, and you want to allow them to cash out as well. So the whole aspect of tokenomics should be built in such a way that you can always get a constant stream of users that pay the game, love the game, and create the constant demand for the token. And that's how you can also allow the small amount of users that want to cash out the ability to cash out.
Oh, okay. So to add on to this, now you're a project creator who's in the midst of doing all this. Yep. You want your token to 1000x, right?
Excuse
or
me?
no? He wants his token to 1000x, right? So whatever.
That's not the purpose of creating a game and creating tokens. You're not supposed to take care. You're not supposed to care about if your token rises 1,000 times more. You should care about users, millions, billions of users to come and play your game. The price appreciation of the token is a side effect.
Okay.
It's not the purpose.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think when you design a game, especially a crypto game, if you look at examples like 𝐒𝐿, for example, the biggest problem 𝐒𝐿 had was people were playing the game just to earn. It's play to earn. You're not playing for fun, right? You're not coming and playing 𝐒𝐿 because you want to have fun. You're playing because you want to make $20 a day. And a sustainable token economy can only give out an equal amount to what is put in, right? So you have to design a game that is incentivizing people to put money in without the idea of taking it back out. Like you said Fortnite. Fortnite is completely inflationary, right? People are putting money in and they're getting tokens. They're getting V-Bucks, I think it's called. Yeah. You're getting V-Bucks. You're not expecting to get anything back. You're going to buy a skin. The skin is what you're getting back, right? So I think by creating ecosystems where people can spend money in the game and then buy assets with that they can then trade is the most sustainable way you can create a game. Because really that's how, if you can mimic the traditional gaming world and put it into blockchain Web3 gaming, I think that's the way forward. And the guy that was talking before said perfectly, crypto games are shit. They are. Like 𝐒𝐿 is not a good game. It was, people were playing it because they were making money. They weren't playing because it was a good game.
So what would that say to investors? I mean, if number is not going to go up, why would I invest in a token?
As I said before, price appreciation is a side effect. You should invest in a company because what they do, and not because their stock price will rise. The rise of the price is a side effect. That's something the Web3 game developers totally forgot. They only care about is the token price. Okay. That's the wrong.
So as an economy though, so how would you even start numbering, like for example, the number of tokens in your economy based on the number of players or number of actions? Is there a formula that you guys have that you guys work with when creating token economics? Yeah,
I can go for that. Yeah, so it depends. You know what I mentioned on the previous statement. It wasn't concerning play to earn. So because when it's play to earn, whatever we tried on our projects, you cannot sustain it more than 2,160 days.
Okay.
Because with double token, with a governance and a utility token model, so it is really difficult to have that. But if it is in-game purchases and carrying your assets with NFTs or carrying your earnings as a token but not play to earn, you know, like from your assets from A to B game, then it makes sense.
Okay.
And you can create an economy which will fit to this. But if you're making an economy for play to earn, we tried a lot and it fails. So
Okay, and so in that economy that you're talking about, though, it's a two-party economy,
Yeah,
correct?
two-party economy
Okay.
with 2 tokens, 1 governance, 1 utility,
Okay.
and it's vesting over time. Doesn't matter whatever you do. So up to a point, when with the market, you have to deplete tokens or coins so faster than they're in the market.
Okay.
With a deflationist structure. Otherwise, it won't work.
So, Jarek, I'm gonna jump onto this next one. If by adding additional parties into the economy, does that make this would it possibly lengthen the life of a play-to-earn game, so that you have more parties who are involved to buy in and pull out and want to use that token?
So I think we're touching here pretty important aspect. Like, again, what is the purpose behind the coin and its existence in the game? And I fully empathize what you guys said before, that price appreciation is a side effect. What we want to achieve by introducing tokens or any Web3 solution is like removing frictions. And what kind of frictions, we might remove by having Web3 eventually playing a role here? Like transactional frictions, ownership, so that, we have players simply feeling some sort of a allegiance towards the content, the script, the game itself. Then what other values we might be looking for over here? Quicker access to the items, better incentivification systems, and so on and so forth. I could probably go on and on. So the economics per se, in my view, in my terms, should not necessarily be confused with the macroeconomics or the economic reality we might have, in the mainstream world or outside of the game. It's all up to what role we want those tokens to play. If you want them to attract new members, then okay, it's a marketing role which exists within the game and outside the game, in the same time. If it's like this frictionless experience we want to give to the players, then again we look at how the transactions are being made, how the ownership status is being recognized, and what happens with those items owned, by the players, and so on and so forth.
Orel, when it comes down to the releasing of tokens and token economics, does that make any difference? I mean, if, I don't know, we release them over 12 months or over 5 years, when it comes down to especially initial purchasers, does that affect the way the economy works?
It's not about how it's affect, but the first question that you ask is how you design a tokenomics. After I read, I think, a couple of hundreds of white papers, I've noticed that everybody is all about the time when you release the lock on your tokens so you can sell them. Time is not the issue. Trademarks, achievements, like this amount of users playing the game, this amount of transactions within the game, then you can unlock those tokens to be sold outside. So I think when you build a tokenomics, you need to put stepping stones that you can achieve within the game, and not in the period of time. After 12 months, after 24 months, you can release those tokens. Only achievements that the game reaches.
Okay, that's a very interesting take there, Steve. Have you released any models that actually work like that? Orel, have you released any models that actually work like that based on achievements of the game?
Yeah. On our model, yeah. Our tokenomics, I think it's the first and only tokenomics that initiates different aspects of unlocking the tokens.
Okay, because I haven't heard of that before, and it's actually quite interesting. So you're just about to launch. Are you going to be making any changes to your tokenomics now?
No, I would say that I agree with Orel. We actually, you're not the only one, because we've done the same. So we actually have something we call algorithmic in-game earning pools. And so what we do is we add tokens to the pool every day that can be earned by players, but they're added algorithmically to all of the different quests within the game. And they're added not equally. We have an algorithm that calculates how much we add to each pool. But basically, the pools that have a lot taken out of them, which will be the quests at the start of the game, will get replenished a lot more than the ones at the end of the game. And what that does is it creates a way for the player to play through the game. And as you're getting progressing through the game, so sort of like having more players, but completing more quests, the amount you can earn for completing that quest is higher.
Okay.
So it means that all the players at the start of the game that come in, they're earning a very small amount, but as you progress through the game, you're earning more. And what that does is, because I said, the way we want people to cash out from our game is not by selling the tokens they earn. We want them to reinvest those tokens into weapons and armor to allow them to progress faster in the game. And then what that does is that actually gives real value to that armor. Because if you have a higher level armor, you can get to the higher level quests and you can earn more. So we encourage the player to keep reinvesting what they earn and play through the game and get to the end of the game.
That sounds like a model that can work for a very long time. Our time is up. Before we go, just one tidbit of information to anybody who's designing tokenomics for a game that you can give them to help them out.
Always think about the bearish and bullish markets because it really affects it. And always at deflationist structure like burning or when the token used, it's gone or locked somewhere to be not used again to create sustainability.
So think carefully about the value you want to achieve by introducing the tokens in the game. What purpose the tokens are supposed to play and how this value is supposed to incrementally grow. Like what actions this requires.
Orel.
Don't let your investors cash out fast. That's my only advice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But also, I think more important than tokenomics, make a fun game. I mean, really, the tokenomics is sort of irrelevant at this point, right? If you don't have a fun game, no one's going to play it. It doesn't matter if your token is worth $1 million. No one's going to play your game, so the token's going to go to zero.
Fantastic. So. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Orel, Onur, and Jarek. This has been all about tokenomics, and we're moving on to the next panel.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting.